Hello everyone. I hope you are safe, healthy, wearing mask whenever you're heading out in public, and washing your hands properly with soap or sanitizing it. The topic for today is America-China relation and how it is impacting global scenario. Without wasting time, I will start. So to understand this, we have to go back to the 1940s, where since the inception of World War II, there were two groups, the Axis power and the Allied power. The Allied power consisted of US, UK, France, China and USSR. And the Axis power was consisting of Germany, Italy and Japan. Now US didn't wanted to be involved in this war initially, but eventually it got dragged down, and we all know what happened, how World War II ended with the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945. So in 1945, China was a nationalist regime and it was headed by Kuomintang, KMT party. Now, to understand China better, we have to go to the history of China for the past 2500 years till 1912. China was an imperial nation and it was headed by the monarch, and in 1912 Sun Yat-sen brought up a major uprising, and through the monarchy and flagged up the nationalist China, and the world saw China as a republic nation. Now at that time, after 1945, there was this huge surge in hoarding nuclear weapons, and globally only two superpowers were competing, that is the US and USSR. Now US was very angry with this idea of communism, because they wanted free trade and democracy to flourish their capitalist economy. USSR was resisting this thought. Till that time, nobody has thought that China would lead the world in communism. Till 1945 or till 1949, US never thought that China could be a communist nation, and China surprised US because on October 1, 1949, Mao Zedong, who was the leader of Chinese Communist Party, declared China as a communist nation and flagged the Chinese flag in Tiananmen Square. Now this was a surprise to US, but even then US never thought that China could match the potential of US. What happened after that? USSR and China understood that the idea of communism between them was different, because USSR had this idea of worker communism and China had this idea of peasant communism. And Mao Zedong, when Stalin died, Nikita Khrushchev became the leader of USSR, and he started this trend of by removing this cult of Stalin, and people also supported him. People hated how Stalin used to work, and Mao Zedong was almost identical in approach with Stalin. So he had to disalign himself from that image. So there we saw this Sino-Soviet split back then. US understood that the idea of communism is split internally. So Nixon in 1972, he asked his foreign diplomat, who was Henry Kissinger, to arrange a meeting with the leader of China, who was Mao Zedong of the Chinese Communist Party, to understand their idea and to bring China to actually change China from communist to a nationalist economy, but they underestimated it. In 1976, Mao Zedong died, and there was this rise of Deng Xiaoping, who is the founder of modern China. He introduced the capitalist economy, and the basic idea of his policy can be summarized in this statement, that is, work on your strength, bide your time, and work in silence. Deng Xiaoping changed during the time of Mao Zedong, he tried to industrialize China, but eventually he failed. Deng Xiaoping, he converted the coastal areas into the special economic zones, called out investors from foreign nation to come to China and invest. And China also had this working age population surge at that time, so he even capitalized on that by providing cheap labor to foreign investors. But still today, the population of rural China is not allowed to come to urban places. So what he did was he transformed China into manufacturing hub. Now China, with this massive manufacturing power, US wanted to change this idea. So they brought in this green revolution, because the idea of green revolution was that if people will have food to eat, they will not revolt, and hence they will not become communist. So this was the basic idea of US for bringing in green revolution, but it did not succeed, and eventually China showed world the way how by the way of communism you can lead your nation, and many nations are following it currently. So US also, with its full potential, brought China to World Trade Organization. Now China, who was already a manufacturing hub, was given this massive scale, and the result is unmatched export potential of China that we see today. Not even US, no other country can match China in terms of export potential. as of now. Now, US is still a superpower because of its high-end technology, and China, even though it is far lagging on that area, Xi Jinping, when he came to power in 2012, he came in power because of two ideas, and he developed his personality cult because of it. One was Belt and Road Initiative, the other was Make in China 2025. This Make in China 2025 policy disturbed US, and US realized that if we will not control, then China will gain the upper hand. And so the current president of US imposed certain tariffs to China, because their US was the biggest exporting nation of China. US had trade deficit with China, and China has trade surplus with US. China also has investment in US treasuries, that is some sort of bond market of US. It is called treasuries in US. The president of US understood that if this situation is not controlled now, then China will be unmatched in its potential. So this restriction, or rather sanction, were put on to them because 90% of trade deal happens in dollar. Now dollar is pegged with gold. So whenever you have to pay your dues, you pay it in dollar, and one way or the other it comes within the system of Federal Reserve of US, which is equivalent to RBI of India, and there they can infringe that or lock that money, and it will not be passed on further. So to counter it, recently China has introduced its electronic currency, that is ERMB, to bypass these tariffs. And not most, but many of the nations have supported this idea. So this is a counter weapon for the sanction that US put on China. Now, globally, nations are realizing that this massive flux in power that China is gaining, that will be harmful because of its ideology. So many nations are starting to say different things about China that initially they never have said, even India. So US very smartly declared this Pacific region as Indo-Pacific, because they think that India can be the counterweight for attacking China. But that is true to some extent, but India very so to say smartly, cleverly disregarded it, and it says we said that we see Indo-Pacific region as geopolitical and not strategic, which is for now the best option for every one of us. So what happened is, after this COVID-19 crisis, world started questioning China, because they hid this fact for a long period of time, and they also tried to change the narrative by propagating or misleading with certain propaganda, and the world is now seeing China as something that can damage its nation's power. So I hope I have covered everything. That is all for this topic for now. I'm signing out. Thank you very much.